Welcome back to 24/7 News. And security researchers have recently found vulnerabilities in ATT, T-Mobile, and Sprint's networks and back-end systems that could have potentially led to the breach of customer data. Recently, they were able to attempt brute force attacks, where basically they try a bunch of different codes for your password. They try every single possible combination of letters and numbers until they can get something. And with pins, it's much easier because it's just a combination of numbers 1 through 9 or 0 through 9. And so as a result, it's very easy to do that. And since many people have their accounts only locked down with a pin, that could have led to the exposure of people's personal information like credit card numbers, social security numbers, all sorts of private information you do not want people on the dark web or just thieves in general to have. And it was also reported that there were actually multiple brute force attempts by different security agencies working on this issue, and it appears that no customer data has actually been leaked. But if a thief were able to use a brute force style attack to break into the network, then once they got into your account, they could change all your personal information. They could change your passwords. They could turn your phone off potentially. My phone. Turn off. I'm not gonna slam it because I don't want to break it, even though this is like a plastic table. Whatever. So, yeah, essentially, as far as they know, there were no actual security breaches that led to the leaking of people's data onto the internet. But these are what we would call white hat hackers, meaning that they are the good guys that are doing research to prevent hacks from actually happening. Hi, now on to Dominion High School sports. Now last week, actually we're filming this on Saturday, so the game actually got wrapped up today. Most people probably don't know the final score because it started thundering at the end of the game, which was a pain for me shooting video and also everyone in the audience. There was thunder and lightning. They had to cancel it. It took until 10:15 for them to even make a final decision with this game, but they eventually decided to call it off at 10:15. At that point, Dominion High School was already down significantly. They had everything was fine up to halftime. I was actually there shooting. Maybe we'll put some video in here. I don't know, but I was there shooting up until halftime, and everything was fine until halftime. Then we went into the third quarter. Everything was okay for like probably the first 10 to 15 minutes of the third quarter. But then after, or I don't know, I don't pay enough attention, but it was fine for a while for the first little while of the third quarter. But then everyone started running inside because there was thunder and lightning, and everyone went home from the game, of course, after having to run and duck inside from the rain, the thunder, and the lightning in the Potomac Falls High School cafeteria. And they waited until 10:15 to finally call off the game, which they did do. They called it off, and they picked it up at 10 a.m. today, which is Saturday, September 1st, 2018. And at the end of the game, it ended up with Dominion High School losing 13 to Potomac Falls 34. So, unfortunately, that was a loss for Dominion High School. And no, we do not pretend to be an unbiased outlet. 24/7 News has direct relations with people at Dominion High School. I work on multiple teams at Dominion High School doing broadcasting work, so I'm not going to try to pretend to be impartial. So, yeah, it sucks. We lost the game, unfortunately. And in national sports news, Adam Pac-Man Jones has recently signed a contract with the Denver Broncos to go play for them. He'd been playing for the Bengals for the 2017 season of the NFL. He is only 34 years old. He has 23 tackles, and he had 23 tackles and an interception last year. The athlete also has had 3 suspensions from the NFLs for a variety of reasons, going back to all the way back to 2007. But he signed a contract with them, so he's going to go play there. And honestly, I'm on Bleacher Report, and there's not much here. So. And finally, in world news, Senator John McCain died at 81 years old. Now, 24/7 News, we are a liberal organization, and I'm not gonna try to mislead the audience. We are going to take a liberal stance on a lot of issues, and since we are reformatting our broadcast to be tech, 2 sports stories, and a world news story, if you are a conservative or an independent and you don't agree with a hyper-liberal snowflake, I guess you could call me, if you're that conservative, then I recommend you tune out the last bit of this broadcast. But John McCain is someone I can definitely respect even as a Democrat because he was just a good person. He would try to reach across the aisle. He even wanted his running mate in 2008 when he ran against Obama. He wanted his running mate to be a Democrat. Of course, that would never happen. He ended up with Sarah Palin because the Republican Party would never go for that. The Democratic Party would probably be super ticked off that a Democrat had gone against them. They'd probably shun his vice presidential candidate if that happened, just because of all the partisan gridlock. But so yeah, he liked to reach across the aisle. He stood up for what he believed. He didn't just go along with what the rest of the Republicans were doing if he did not agree with something, like when he voted against the AHCA. Yeah, it was the American Healthcare. Yeah, the American Healthcare Act. He voted against the American Healthcare Act because he did not believe in it. He thought it was something that was just for partisan one-upsmanship on the part of the Republican Party. He thought, if the issue is maybe we should just rework Obamacare, fix the things that are broken, not come up with something entirely new just to tick off the Democrats. So, there was that, and then also he was a war hero. He was captured by the Vietnamese and tortured even when he was in their custody, but eventually, obviously, he was freed by the Americans. So, just overall, it's definitely a shame. He's probably one of the greatest Republicans of all time, because I gotta be honest, I don't have respect for very many Republicans right now, but I definitely had respect for him, so he's definitely a shame. And no, I'm not getting teary. I'm just rambling on, because I'm reading off a screen, my laptop here. We're not doing scripts anymore because I hate writing them. But that's it for 24/7 News. No more sources in the description. We've gotten rid of that. It should be cited on the lower third, but thanks for watching.